Disclaimer: this is my opinion. If you disagree with what I say, that is completely okay and expected. I do not intend to hate or disrespect on anyone in this video. Just food for thought. I want to start by saying that in no way am I hating on J. Cole or his latest album. I actually think the album is great, and in my opinion, it's an 8 out of 10. It's no bad track. J. Cole did his thing. And this is to be expected by a top-notch artist who has been in the game for over a decade and managed to stay relevant and respected. All by doing nothing but let his music speak for itself. No publicity stunt, no beef, just raw talent. Something a lot of artists struggle to do. However, even though I enjoyed the offseason and I respect J. Cole as an artist, I felt that his latest album was a little lacking. When I first listened to the offseason, I was amazed at the wonderful songs I was hearing. Then I woke up the next morning and felt nothing. I didn't really feel impacted by what I just listened to. And I think this is partially due to how the album is formatted and the content of the songs overall. Content and format. Besides from quality, I'd say these are the two most important features on an album. If an album feels horribly formatted, it will be a pain to listen to in order, and if the content is horrible, it'll be a pain to listen to in general. The offseason doesn't have a large issue with this, seeing that I did give it an 8 out of 10, but it could be better. The format seems to be of a regular album format. He puts the high energy tracks first and slowly transitions into the deep, slower, introspective songs towards the end. This is fine, but alongside the content of the songs, it just makes for a very average experience. The contents of the song are very okay. Cole seems to take a more in-your-face, I'm still working hard, I shouldn't be slept on type approach, which is, once again, okay, but with his mastery of the art, it still results in a great product. Yet, I can't shake the fact that it could be better. So how can the album be better? Well, when it comes to music, particularly albums and the process of creating one, there are many different approaches as to how one can put their experiences and moral values into their work, which can result in a more impactful piece of art. The two most used ways, especially in hip-hop, are theme and concept. Theme is defined as the idea or ideas that recurs in or pervades a work of art or literature. When the album adjusts towards the exploration of themes rather than a concept, it displays actions and feelings that will give you a very good guess as to what the album will approach. For example, Yeezus by Kanye West. On that album, Kanye covers a plethora of themes which include the oppression of people of color in the US, the slow downfall of his morality, and the faults of living with intense amounts of fame. Alongside the chaotic and sometimes beautiful production, the album feels like a trip through the mind of a man with a god complex who's struggling to fix himself. This is a great use of theme that elevates the listening experience of the album. And though Yeezus was once overhated in present day and has been praised a numerous amount of times, and now some people believe that it's actually overrated. But I digress. Concept is described as an idea or invention to help sell or publicize a commodity. In terms of music, a concept album will focus on a certain genre, idea, story, character, or characters. A good example of this is Kendrick Lamar's To Pimp a Butterfly. This album doesn't need much of an introduction if we're being honest. It is constantly referred to as Kendrick's best album and one of the best albums of the past decade. It is a classic. Kendrick uses his brilliant songwriting skills to discuss the horrors of living life in America as a black man, while also touching more personal subjects like his experiences in Compton and mental health. This by itself would make for an already wonderful album, but he goes out of his way to incorporate a poem that plays and gets longer at the end of every song. And on the final track, the poem concludes and we are greeted to a makeshift conversation between Kendrick and TPAB. And this is where we learn the meaning of the album title, which is a metaphor that represents a deeper story that plays throughout the album. There are many theories on what Kendrick actually meant with his title, but the one I'd like to cover states that the caterpillar represents Kendrick when he was living poorly in Compton. As he realizes his skills for rap, he leaves the cocoon, that is Compton, and becomes a butterfly. This only slightly scratches the surface of what Kendrick meant during his breakdown, yet it is still deep and powerful in itself, resulting in a more impactful piece of art. J. Cole has experience with both of these approaches, and on his recent album, The Offseason, it seems like he decided to go with theme. The title of the album is The Off-Season, which is the time of year where no activity, usually a sport, is played. I assume during Cole's off-season, he was working hard, pushing himself, trying to create his best project yet, and that's the exact type of energy we get on this album. A very aggressive version of Cole with his mind set on making bangers. With that in mind, you could say Cole did what he needed to do on that album, but that doesn't change the fact that I personally didn't feel anything. And Cole just being aggressive for the most part doesn't completely correlate with the off-season aesthetic/theme the album is marketed as. There are other themes and elements that could have been explored with the topic that I didn't really see. The only songs where I felt Cole's aggressiveness and determination to come back stronger the next season were on Hunger on Hillside and Applying Pressure, but I could be missing some. This is why I think the off-season could have worked better as a concept album. The concept obviously being the off-season, and maybe we could get more tracks that capture the hunger for success someone might feel during the off-season, with maybe some interludes or skits about a resting basketball player looking for more. You get the idea. I feel like this would make for a more impactful album and could even produce some better songs. Making a concept album isn't foreign to Cole either. In 2016, Cole dropped For Your Eyes Only. This album, at first, just like the off-season, feels like a collection of decently related songs, but when you reach the last song named after the album, it all changes. The sound of a cassette tape being inserted on the first track, those random songs displaying juvenile behavior, losing a friend, and being adrift in life, all start to make sense. You were listening to someone's life experiences, something they left behind for their daughter in case they weren't there to tell and teach them in person. I feel like this revelation made every song hit harder and has made the album go from something I think is pretty good to something I appreciate beyond the musical value. Though I personally enjoy the album, it was met with mixed reviews by the public. I also want to mention that an album can be great without a strong theme or concept. For an example, just look at most of Cardi's discography. Their albums, by the most basic definition, a collection of songs. And this isn't a bad thing when the content or vibe of the album is good. At the end of the day, I'm just a fan, and these are my thoughts on J. Cole's latest album. And for all I know, I could completely be off on what Cole's intention with this album were. It could have been something to hold off his fans when he works on the fall off or maybe his basketball career. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like, comment, and subscribe. I'd really like to hear your thoughts on the album. Am I wrong and the album was just fine? Am I on point? Let me know. Special thanks to my friend Bryce for helping with the script. Thanks again for watching. Peace.